Chapter 105. Among the people fighting under the giant beanstalk, Robin and Hina's fight was one of the most intense ones out of them. Bam! Hina hit Robin's face using a cage's end. She was a second late from capturing her in a cage, but she didn't give up. Wiping blood from her swollen lips, Robin stared ahead with her eyes calculating the next course of action. She was never good at fighting, but she was giving her best. Finding an opening, she crossed her arms and spawned hands on Hina's neck. But Robin's hands weren't able to touch her head, as a cage had been created around Hina's head, thus blocking Robin's hand from reaching her. "You rely too much on your clutching powers." Commenting such, Hina again rushed towards Robin. This time Robin was forced to choose and fight hand to hand. She recalled a generic technique Amon suggested once. "I should try that." Robin crossed her arms and closed her eyes. The next second, she opened her eyes with a sharp glint. Fleur, 6 arms. Robin spawned 4 extra arms on her body, thus coming to possess 6 usable arms. 4 is better than 2 and 6 is better than 4. She recalled Amon's words and rushed forward. But if you can't control them properly, then it's better to have only one. Robin knew what he meant. Control. She did have control over her 6 arms. That's why she summoned them in this intense battle. Robin then drove her legs forward, rushing towards Hina. Hina tried to stop her by using her cages, but Robin was fast and agile enough to evade them swiftly. Getting close to Hina, she punched towards different parts of her body. Her head, her shoulder, her stomach, her rib cage, and finally her 2 kidneys. Crushing force. With a shocked face, Hina blocked her 4 hands barely, but the other 2 hands slipped through her defense and hit her in the kidneys. Hina's eyes grew in a matter of seconds. Gah! She puked saliva and clutched the side of her belly strongly. She stood there for a few seconds but was still able to evade most of Robin's attacks. "Ha! Looks like Hina underestimated you." Spitting out a tooth, Hina stood still on her feet. "That you did, but the realization won't help you now." Saying this, Robin calculated her next attack, but crack! The weather suddenly changed significantly. Rumble! The clouds above started to darken and the sky started to roar. Clear drops of water started to pour from the sky, and as if the thunder had life, it started to dance in the sky. Robin stared at this scene blankly for a second before releasing a relieved sigh. He got the signal. He indeed did get the signal Robin sent. Amon's arrival wasn't just luck-based after all. The tower on top of Giant Jack wasn't just used as a cell phone tower. It had other uses. Robin used the tower to send radio waves towards space, as Amon ordered her to do if there were ever any emergencies. Robin did exactly that just when she was let known about the arrival of the celestial dragons. The satellite dish on the moon captured it and let Amon know about the emergency. After that, everything happened at lightning speed. It took him around an hour to arrive here from the moon. He's always on time. Releasing another relieved sigh, Robin dashed towards the caught-off-guard Hina. "Kami-sama, kya?" Robin didn't see, but behind the dark clouds, a spherical bowl-type object was flying, coming towards this place. Mai. The sky was dark. The intensity of wind was the highest in the forest area because of the trees. Amidst the blowing wind, Amon's shoulder-length hair was fluttering beautifully. Amon was wearing only trousers and a leather chest vest, proving his unexpected arrival. While rain was falling on his body, he was holding Yona in his strong arms. His sudden teleportation made the 3 nobles stop in their spot in surprise. "Who is this guy?" the female noble asked in her mind. She suddenly got interested in this potential slave. In front of the noblewoman, Amon was completely standing still, ignoring her gaze completely. He was rather looking at the face of the woman in his arms. "Are you all right?" "Never mind." The hand-broken Yona had blurry eyes because of all the tears. She was still thinking the man who was carrying her was just her hallucination. "My Kami, is that really you?" The man, Amon, stared at her silently, as if he was reading her mind. "Amon, Pov." I looked at her almost severed arm silently. "Close your eyes. It won't hurt," I said, and streamed a little bit of electricity through Yona's brain and forced her body to shut down. I glanced at Sumi, who was standing behind me. Staring at her for a second, I handed Yona to her. I moved my lips. "Go back, take her to the infirmary. And Uruj, go and help our people in the fight." Uruj instantly nodded. "Yes, my lord." Saying this, Uruj instantly rushed backward, but Sumi seemed to hesitate about something. "Lord, the war is still going on. We are not sure in what state the infirmary is. With all due respect, is it a good idea to bring the injured archpriestess to that place?" I stared at her for a brief moment, before lifting the corners of my lips upwards. "She is surprisingly behaving." I nodded my head. "It's fine. By the time you reach there, the war would have already come to an end." Thunder cracked in the sky, as if to support my words. With red cheeks and giving a last look at my face, Tsumi also rushed backward. How long will it take for her to reach 2 kilometers away from here, from this packed forest full of trees? Will the war really stop before then? She didn't know, but she ran with all her might. Yona's bleeding arm might get lost forever if not treated at once. Looking at the light far, the light of Wiper's fire, Tsumi increased her speed. General Pov. On the other side, Wiper was busy fighting the 3 vice admirals who were in front of him. Fire machine gun! Wiper pointed his fingers ahead and started to fire bullets from them. Pew, 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 pew. They were very fast, going towards the 300 Marines around him. Most of them got hit and fell on the ground, struggling to extinguish the fire. It didn't take long for the fire to subside because of the rain. Among the 300 Marines, 2 Vice Admiral blocked the attacks with their sword, and another Vice Admiral, Cooler, blocked it by turning the air into ice. Coke, why is this bastard so strong, even though it's raining? Indeed, Wiper was fighting 300 Marines and 3 Vice Admirals toe-to-toe. He alone was enough for them. In reality, Wiper would have won if this was a clean field and not a forest. If he uses his full power here, the forest will burn, and it would be bad since this is his own forest. Besides, it was raining. Things weren't looking bad for Wiper, at least not until another Vice Admiral joined the fight. A bulky man walked and stood with the 3 other Vice Admirals, his height a little higher than others. I have cleared the other part. I brought a sea stone lance as well, so let's take him on together. All of them nodded, hearing this, and rushed towards Wiper. Cooler snatched the lance and rushed ahead of everyone. Wiper tried to oppose them using his fire spear, but Cooler jabbed the sea prism lance forward, towards Wiper's heart. Fuck, the sea prism is erasing my fire, and this rain, it's weakening me. Wiper moved his hands forward to stop the lance with his palm. This would hurt a lot, as it would even penetrate his palm too, but this was the only way. Because he was out of stamina, barely moving, he was about to fall on his knees. Fuck this damned rain. Before the lance could hit him though, a feminine hand smaller than his stopped the lance using his palm. The lance didn't penetrate her ink-black palm, rather, it just shattered. "It's all right, Wiper," a long, familiar female voice whispered in his ears as Wiper's body finally gave up. "Take a rest, dumbass." Before going unconscious, his face bloomed a soft smile. The female smiled softly. "You did a great job." As Wiper fell to the ground, she looked around. Every Marine in front was wary of her. Shattering a sea prism weapon meant she isn't a devil fruit user. The female didn't talk, rather just smiled. "No," she grinned. "Stupid fucks. I will chop your heads off." As her voice subsided, 60% of the people on the island lost their consciousness, except for the strong people like the Marine officers and all people with wings. Even Robin, who was injured, and the guests from Alabasta also lost their consciousness. Fuck, I wanted to enjoy myself a little. No, it wasn't the females doing. Amon Pov. As Tsumi left, I released a burst of Conqueror's Haki towards a specific target, non-winged beings. The burst reached the main battle 2 kilometers away in a matter of seconds. The rest will be taken care of by Raki. I stared at Tsumi's back while feeling the world nobles finally regaining their composure. I turned around. Vivi was still in the hands of the noble. She just stared in front of her towards me with wide eyes. It seems her memories are fuzzy, though she still recognized me. Looking at my face, Vivi was lost for a second. However, "You! When did you come here? Who are you to let my slave run away?" Unbeknownst to Vivi's state of mind, the noble Baseodo who noticed Tsumi yelled in surprise and confusion. In response, I laughed lightly, albeit my face didn't seem like that of someone who's joking. My eyes were sharp. Looking at the noble who was holding Vivi, my gaze was as if burning the soul of the noble, Baseodo. Should I kill him? I have a better plan. Why are you laughing? Baseodo felt his blood freeze. I stayed silent, staring at him, planning what I really should do with them. Who are you glaring at? I looked at his eyes as Baseodo felt his legs go numb. It was his instinct warning him. But how will a person who never fought in his life understand his own instinct? He tried to push harder. "Why? You want this girl dead?" At this line, Vivi also regained her fuzzy mind. The noble raised his hand holding the gun, preparing to hit Vivi again as he jabbed his hand towards her face. However, crack. Before he could do so, his hand just bent in a way it shouldn't, seemingly by themselves. It took a while for the noble's pain receptor to react as he screamed in agony. "How, sir?" Holding his right hand using his left, the noble dropped his gun and fell on his knees. He never felt this much pain in his life. His bone was revealed, coming out of his suit. Vivi, on the other hand, had wide, shocked eyes. She didn't see what happened, but she guessed it was me who broke his arm, and she was right. I had a thought as I looked at her. Honestly, the one who deserves to receive a broken hand is you, not this guy. Vivi felt her forehead turn cold, but I ignored that and directed my hand towards her. In her shocked state, I yanked her towards me by her waist. Her face hit my chest as she stayed in that position, not daring to look at my eyes. She realizes, even though she had good intentions, her actions would have not only humiliated Yona, but also killed her and the other two priests. Meanwhile, one of the nobles was already kneeling, while the other two were too caught in the situation to move. Seeing their siblings like this surely made them infuriate, but what I could feel from their heart was fear. I just pointed my fingers forward and zit! Ah, ah! All three of them started to scream. This is torture. I'm shocking them to their limit. If I increase the power a little more, they will die. They peed themselves while their body was shaking, through its skins becoming charred. Their inner thoughts were like this: monster, monster, daddy help. Kill me, Udbuaz. Quite interesting thoughts, and I stopped. Or they will die, death will be too easy for them. Zist. As minutes passed in silence, with the only sound present being the raindrops landing on the trees and ground, I then used one of the many techniques I mastered in the past 4 years. Thud! Ah! What's happening? Both of them fell on their knees, just like their kneeling sibling. Clean my boots with your tongue. I want it to shine. They were surprised, but their bodies moved by themselves. Their bodies aren't in their control anymore. While they slowly directed their faces towards my and Vivi's shoe, in less than a second, I teleported and brought a camera dial here. I also popped their bubble helmet using a bit of heat. Let us stream this video to all the corners of the world. All the large monitors of Wingless Valkyrie will play this video. It would be interesting, right? I then glanced at the female. You, yes you. Keep licking and strip. Take your clothes off. The female started to strip, just like what I said. This was being streamed around the world. Marines will come after the Wingless Valkyrie and Skypiean, but this isn't enough. I recall she wanted to make me her slave. I then teleported from there and returned after a few seconds with 2 horses. Patting the horses back, I ordered them to go forward towards the female. Do a good job, all right? Ki. I took the horses and the female a little far from here. I don't want Vivi to see what will happen to the woman. After that, I returned after placing a camera with the woman there. It won't be streamed to the world. I will use it as a blackmail material. I'm sure this would be enough for me to play the world government silly. Looking at the 2 men licking my and Vivi's boots, while this was being streamed live, I had one thought. This would be dangerously crazy. The world government will be infuriated. They would want me dead. They will use all their power to capture me. But do I care? If they come after me, that's all according to my plan. It's been enough hiding like a rat. Fuck plot, fuck the will of D, fuck the world government. As of now, I don't care at all. In sync with my thoughts, the sky roared. General Pov. Meanwhile, the nobles were cleaning Amon's shoes, still in a daze wondering what was happening. In reality, their bodies were not theirs to control. The human body moves using electrical signals traveling through their brain, the neurons. Then what if a person who has great control over electricity tries to fool the brain by sending fabricated signals, neuron control? Using this technique, Amon sends electrical waves into one's brain and orders it to perform any movement. The electricity fools the brain thinking the host is the one ordering it. So I'm basically a hacker. But I'm not hacking a computer, I'm hacking a brain. Killing them right now, in this dark, would be too small of payment for all the problems they caused. Amon came here in a hurry, in the middle of an important battle. First, I should make them lick our foot and stream it throughout the world. Hey bro! Suddenly, a female voice entered Amon's ear as he looked back. Stop hugging her. Bitch was the reason Yona is in that state, right? I want to kill her, so get away. It was Raki. She rushed towards Amon, specifically towards Vivi, who was hugging Amon tightly. General Pov. Yona's forearm was barely clinging to the elbow. It was connected to a high-tech machine. Do not worry, it will be fine. I, Automata Short Motor, guarantee it. The folk riding the spherical vehicle that Robin missed had come down now. They were helping all the winged people on the battlefield. The war had already ended. A burst of Conqueror's Haki from Amon had knocked them unconscious. Now the many automata who came here riding the spaceship were helping all the winged people and the ones they were previously notified of, like Robin, Cricket, and the Alabastan people. Meanwhile, Amon and Raki were having a skirmish. Bro, get away! I will kill her. Amon glared at her. Shut the fuck up. This is an emergency. Don't act childish here. Bro, Though their moment couldn't hold for much longer, Reiki covered her eyes. The reason was a blinding yellow light. A certain someone had teleported in the air. "Oh, whoa, whoa!" A bored voice sounded from the sky as Amon looked at the sky. "So I wasn't so late, huh?" Amon just stared at him for a second. Raki's face went full serious. "It's that guy brother told me about, Admiral Kizaru Borsellino." The flying man Kizaru looked at the three celestial dragons licking Amon, Raki and Vivi's shoes. Raki was arguing with Amon while standing on her feet, Vivi behind Amon. The two celestial dragons were uncontrollably licking the shoes of the three, while the camera was capturing everything and streaming it throughout the world. Kizaru couldn't find the female around here. "Wow!" Hearing Kizaru's voice and looking at his half-closed eyes, Raki quickly touched her sword. "Is this some kind of juke?" Kizaru said in his usual tone. "I guess I was a little late." Raki instantly jumped in the air, her swords going towards Kizaru's neck.